Is that the one y'all saw? Dude, there's dry bag and stuff in there.
The trip started like any other, except at the put-in, Josh and Chris thought they had noticed the tip of a kayak bob by. They said they were a little sketched out. And it wasn't long, about 3 miles into the journey, and we found the boat stuck on a root ball. You never know what to expect in this situation. This kind of kayak usually does not retain a body, but you never know what happened. Nevertheless, I tried to ram it free of the root ball. It did not break free. I knew it was caught. So slowly I tipped it over, hoping not to find anything else inside. Fortunately, it was just full of sticks and debris. However, it was definitely being used when it was lost. In short order, we had it cut free of the root ball, and we caught up to it, towed it to shore, and decided what to do next.
So we've got the boat out of the water. It's registered to someone from Ohio. Expired March 1, 2017, so maybe they moved down here.
Shortly after finding the kayak, we also found a paddle, presumably the one that was lost when the kayak was lost. We towed the boat about 7 miles to the takeout. Along the way, we were hesitantly looking into the other trees and root balls along the way, hoping not to find the other missing part of the equation. Now here's where it gets interesting. At lunch we were talking about the boat, and Turtlehead Chris brought up the fact that he was nearly certain he had seen this boat before. In fact, about 2 weeks prior, at an event put on by Monkeying Around, Get Your Paddles Wet River Island Adventure near Myrtle Beach. So he dug on his cell phone, and sure enough, he pulls up a picture, and there's the boat on the banks of the Waccamaw River 2 weeks prior, paddling with the Turtlehead boys. In fact, there's my guy, right there kneeling over the yellow boat. I just needed a name. I called Shane with Monkeying Around and asked if he remembered the name of the guy. Shane did not. He said he thought he tagged along with Chris from Hook, Line, and Paddle, another guy who attended the event, runs a shop out of Wilmington. So I called Chris. Chris had in fact paddled with the couple, a man and woman from out of state who split time between 2 states in retirement. But he didn't remember the name. And in fact, they did not tag along with Chris. They tagged along with Jeff from River Island Adventures. So now I'm calling Jeff, seeing if he remembers. And he does, but he doesn't have a name. He said they met one of his guides at a boat dock, and he mentioned the event and said they should come paddle around. Looking into it, it turns out they paid cash, didn't sign a waiver because they weren't officially part of the crew. Still no name. And though I did not have a name yet, I did have some critical information. I knew what state he lived in, I knew what city he lived in now, and I knew he split time between there and another state, and I knew he was retired. All pretty good pieces of the puzzle. And so upon leaving the burger joint, Josh from the Turtlehead boys drove to the landings above where we put in to make sure there was no cars with ladder racks or trucks still parked at the put-ins. Those were empty. I stopped by the local sheriff department to make sure they weren't looking for anybody, and they indeed were not. I spent the next few hours on and off the phone with a couple different sheriff's departments, as there were several search and rescues happening that day all in the area. And I was talking to them, they were talking to me, and we were helping sort out and deconflict a lot of the information we were getting to be sure that this kayak was not involved in one of those events. Probably the most important piece of information I had, I could not access yet because it was the weekend. I needed to wait till Monday so I could call the state the boat was last registered in. And Monday afternoon, doing that, I finally got a name. I spent a good part of the evening on Monday Facebook creeping and doing Google searches for this person. So using the information I did have and the name I was given, I was pretty certain I had the right guy. His name was Nelson, and I was able to give the sheriff department an address. They checked in on him, but he was not home, but everything else matched up. They called him later that evening, gave him my information, and he called the next day.
All right, good news. I finally made contact with the owner of the ghost boat, a gentleman by the name of Nelson. He and his wife Ann will be coming up here in about an hour. The boat was adrift for 10 days at the mercy of the river before she was rescued, and she looks a little haggard, a little beat down, and she wants to look good for meeting Nelson again. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time here, clean her all up, and pretty much fix the situation with the River King sticker. Alright, we're looking good. We've got the cockpit cleaned out. It was just absolutely filled with debris. I got it cleaned out, got it washed off. Now I'm going to hit the stern compartment. But a lot of you are probably wondering why I would do all this. Because I scrub mine down after a trip. I'll keep them polished off and washed off. But especially after being orphaned on the river for 10 days. Could you imagine how the boat felt? It's a powerful thing. And then to be rescued. And then to get the news that your owner is coming to get you. That is just an amazing moment. So Nelson and his wife they're probably going to be here any minute. And you know, I guess it's kind of like if you know, the love between a man and his horse. And I know it's not the same, you know, it's not a horse and a man, it's a kayak. And I understand, I get that. A horse and a horse lover would never understand the bond a kayaker has with his boat. So I just wanted this day to be right for the old ghost boat here. She's looking good, she's ready to go, and we're looking forward to it. Say hey. But Nelson is the famed owner of the ghost boat. Does she have a name? Oh, so it's the ghost boat or whatever he chooses to name it. But we're ecstatic. We finally got in touch with him. He called me last night, or this morning actually. So we are here and reuniting the boat with its owner. I spent about an hour getting her all prettied up for you.
Oh, thank you. Was it covered with mud?
Oh, it was covered in every mud, sticks. Yeah, it was. He lost it about 10 days ago on the river, a little further upstream, and I guess fortuitous that it floated up and dislodged, and we were able to get it for him. So good deal, and happy to do it, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saving my boat for me.
Right on.
I thought it was gone forever.
Well, good. Yeah, he was happy to hear about it this
Really
morning.
happy.
So.
Yeah,
Well, good deal, man. Well, I hope you enjoy it.
I will. Thank you.
About 10 days prior, Nelson had put in here at McKeever's Landing. There was a large tree blocking nearly the whole channel. He tried to jump it with his kayak. but getting sideways, he was pinned against the log and actually flushed under it. He came out, but his kayak didn't. When he reached shore, his kayak dislodged, carried off downstream a few hundred yards, and lodged again in another tree. When the water subsided, he went back again and it was gone. He even went downstream to the next bridge and paddled around looking for it. He thought it was gone forever. 10 days later, another high water event due to rain dislodged the kayak and drifted it right into the path of the Turtlehead boys and me.
Now they're taking off. Y'all have a good one.
I can't stress enough, stay away from the wood,
Try to do a day trip with him.
stay out of the trees,
That'd be good.
and get your name on your boat.
So there's the good ending to a cool story.